A super fascinating funeral unfolded in Maanzoni, Machakos County, which turned out to be a very political funeral and one that I cannot ignore. Okay? Raila Odinga was there. The owner of Citizen TV S.K. Macharia was there and said some very interesting things about our politics. But the most significant thing about this very political meeting, at the send-off of retired Colonel Nguyo Gitahi, was that a number of hidden developments in our politics came out very clearly. For instance, it became clear to those who are still in denial that there is a faction within ODM, part of the UDA-ODM MOU. There is a faction within ODM that is looking for the least excuse. Actually, let me put it even more bluntly. This faction wants this MOU to fail. In their hearts, they do not believe that this thing can work. Okay? And I'll give you evidence of that. I've actually prepared a brief audio, which you'll take in, and you'll be able to hear for yourself, so that you don't start saying, oh, Chris Kumekucha is manufacturing stuff. No! This is the reality of Kenyan politics. But even more disturbing is this stubbornness and insistence of Raila Odinga, contrary to the views and feelings of a vast majority of Kenyans, that this MOU of his with Ruto was the best way forward for the country. He's still insisting on selling that. And I can only say, it looks like the consequences of that are going to be serious. Because where Kenyans have reached today, moto ya kuotea mbali sana. A very warm welcome to my show today, where we're going to break all that down. Break down the politics until it cannot be broken down anymore, so that we come out of here with a very clear understanding of where we are and where we're going as a country politically. I believe that is the main reason why most of the regulars here on this channel never miss a video here. And I take this opportunity to be humbled and to thank you so much for always ensuring that you never, ever miss a single Kumekucha video. On my part, I rededicate myself to ensure that I'll always go to great lengths, to make it a certainty that every time you come here, there is something that you say, wah, I'm glad I came. Okay? Let's get down to business. But please allow me first, before we proceed, to present a message from our sponsors today. It is not like anything you expect. The strangest message ever from a sponsor, at least on this channel. But I believe it is keeping it real. Keeping it real with our times, some of the problems we face. Now this man is looking for a life partner, but he's not a young man. But he says that he can feel it in his bones, and appreciates that he's looking for a needle in a haystack. But believes that that lady, the one, the soulmate, can be found, is out there somewhere and has been waiting for some time. His words. And this person has been sensing for some time that their destiny, their purpose, their reason for being born is tied to a life partner who is on the way. That is what they've always been feeling. But of course this has not stopped them from getting very discouraged sometimes, feeling conflicted, almost giving up, almost sinking into desperation as the years go by. Okay? Obviously, the lady he seeks to connect with is not very young. Okay? But she must be very prayerful. She must know the scriptures well, quite naturally, because to be compatible, you need to share core values. That makes complete sense to me. But there's also something else super fascinating is saying. This particular lady, this needle in a haystack that is looking to link up with, may be a barren woman. Yeah, maybe. Now we all know that Kizungu ilikuja na meli. Yeah, so let's be careful how we interpret the word may. Okay? And she may also have another disadvantage in life that she sees as a huge disadvantage. But in this particular instance, will end up being a huge advantage, yeah, if she's the one. And also, she is very beautiful, either on the inside or both on the inside and outside. But inside is important, actually much more important, and must be within the borders of Kenya, or is in a situation where she's prepared to move at very short notice so that she's within the borders of Kenya, if she's the one. Now please listen carefully to what you have to do if you think you're the one. You need to shoot me an email, but you must attach a recent photograph in that email. You can see the email address on your screens right now. It is our usual email address. And I give you my absolute word as Chris Kumekucha that all communications on this matter will be kept very private. It will only be seen by the sponsor. And in that email, you need to say why you think it is you. It is quite possible he will shoot you an email and ask you a few questions. Please do the courtesy of responding without too much delay. Okay? Now we have already agreed with him. He is prepared to receive 0 responses. Yeah, the idea here is not volumes. The idea here is the one. Yeah, if one person responds and that's the person, super. Okay? He's not looking for volumes of responses. And if you happen to know somebody whom you think fits this description, please bring their attention to this video and reassure them of their privacy, because this is Chris Kumekucha handling this. Okay? And that will be very great. I know that we may not all appreciate this, but this is very serious business, because we are dealing with the destiny and the purpose of precious people. Okay? Right, let's get on with the show. This send-off of the late Colonel retired Nguyo Gitahi in Maanzoni, Machakos County, and maybe a good way to proceed from here is for us to listen to the brief audio that I've prepared for you. I'll be back shortly.
Chaguzi ambayo imekuwa naitwa free and fair tangu tulete hii mfumo wa siasa yenye vyama vingi ni 2002. Hiyo peke yake. Hizi zingine zote unajua S.K amwambia nyinyi. S.K amwambia nyinyi. Kwa hivyo mimi usimwambie mimi nataka mimi nishinde. Mimi sashinda mara mingi. Sijatangazwa tu. Mwaka juzi tulikuwa nasema fungeni sava. Tulisema fungeni sava. Maana tulikuwa najua ndani ya sava kuna ukweli. Walifungua. Lakini muhimu ni kwamba Kenya ni mkubwa kushinda sisi zote. Unasema Ruto aende. Aende alafu nani ifanyike? Mbele pale Ruto aende aweke Gachagua. Sasa Ruto aende, Kindiki aende abaki pale. Baadaye Kindiki aende weke mtu mwingine. Hakuna haja. 27 itafika. Lakini wa Kenya wako na shida mpaka ya shida yatatuliwe sasa.
This is what I would ask for President Ruto to do for us, to have a new voter register and to make sure that the next election, whoever gets elected will be elected by Kenyans by casting votes.
Iwapo Mkenya mwingine yoyote atachukuliwa na polisi ati abducted afichiwe mahali, chama cha UDA na kiongozi wake William Ruto watakuwa wamekeuka mkataba ambao tumeandikisha.
Please somebody help me solve the following mystery. How we Kenyans, na wengi wetu tumeenda shule, yeah, we've gone to school, how we Kenyans have been fooled since the 2002 presidential elections. How we have been fooled that as the election proceeds and we're waiting for the results to be announced from Bomas and we don't see anything wrong with that. Please explain to me how the whole country has been fooled. Who has bewitched us? Because our constitution is very clear. The election starts and ends where? Not at Bomas, at the polling station. Yeah? This business of correcting the results, correcting errors in the results were told by the IEBC at Bomas, hiyo ndo inaleta hii shida yote. And so, I pray that in the next general elections, Kenyans should not accept the nonsense of waiting for the results from Bomas. They shouldn't. The results should come directly from each and every polling station. Period. There is no other way of interpreting our constitution. And it is a big shame on the nation, yeah, that over 33 years after we went back to multi-party democracy, we have had only one presidential election where the real results were announced. All the others have been fictional results, including 2022 presidential elections. Shame on you Kenyans. How could this have happened? How? Anyway, I like the way Sifuna talked. You know, the problem with Sifuna, yeah, a problem because he's a politician, but absolutely wonderful for those of us who are looking forward to a brand new Kenya. The problem and the good thing with Sifuna is that he does not know how to hide his feelings. He doesn't. He speaks from the heart. If we hear of any abduction, and you know by the way some of them have been happening chini ya maji, if we hear of any inkling of an abduction, already that is a breach of contract, yeah, with UDA. And you know what happens when there's a breach of contract? The contract ceases to exist, becomes null and void. That is really what Sifuna was telling Kenyans. But now, on to the elephant in the room. Raila Odinga is still very aggressively selling the narrative that there is no option for Kenyans with Ruto not being there. Yeah? Ruto not being there will just make things worse for Kenya. It will be a lot worse. And therefore as Kenyans we have no option but to allow Raila Amolo Odinga to go into an arrangement with the government of Ruto so as to solve our problems as quickly as possible, long before the 2027 general elections. That is the narrative Raila is trying to sell Kenyans. And guess what? They are not buying. They are not boarding. Kenyans are not boarding. They have refused to board. Hey! Actually, I don't agree with Raila. And if there's no Ruto, things would be worse for Kenya? I don't agree. Because under the leadership of Ruto, Kenya's hit rock bottom. We cannot go even an inch further down than where we have reached with Ruto. Because the man has no feelings for the masses. None at all. The man has no mercy at all. Hey, indeed any other leader but not Ruto will be better for Kenya. That is what most Kenyans believe. And I have to agree. But then Raila is still busy selling us that narrative of this was the best option, the best decision on behalf of Kenyans. He's still selling us that narrative. And Kenyans are not buying. And therefore, I firmly believe that something very soon will have to give. I firmly believe that this time round, Raila Odinga, for the first time in his long, illustrious political career, this time round, Raila will end up with egg on his face. That is what I firmly believe. You know, it is strange. Raila is normally very sensitive to what Kenyans are feeling on the ground. So I'm very puzzled that this time round, he has not realized that things are much further gone than he realizes. Kenyans wameshiba Ruto kabisa. They will not move a single inch forward with Ruto. They won't. That's why Kenyans have reached. And I strongly believe that that is not breaking news. Most of us who are close observers of Kenyan politics already know that. It's not a secret. It's not breaking news. And therefore, the backlash from this insistence of Raila on selling this narrative, oh, 2027 will come, oh, we have to join with Ruto because the options you cannot even think about. Yeah, if Ruto is not there, then what? Hey! The consequences of insisting on selling that narrative are not going to be good. That is how I see it. I'm not sure how you see it. Maybe you can give me your views in the comments area below. I'll be very happy to receive them. Yeah? Because maybe I've gotten it wrong. Please correct me. Yeah? I can be corrected anytime. Yeah? I'm a humble man. Right. Very quickly before I go, just a quick reminder of my latest special report. Yeah, very few slots left. 3,999. And then you will get this detailed information that will help you realize just how deep this hole which Kenya has fallen into is and the grave dangers ahead of us. You can see details on your screens. Please take quick action to avoid disappointment. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.